it looks like this. Shohei Ohtani came into the day chasing a spot that no one's ever gone, 50-50. He's off and steals third. The throw actually beats him to the bag, but this is a clever slide, and he pops up and avoids the tag. So he's now gotten to 50 steals, needs 2 more homers. They'll take that base away. It's replaced with a new bag. Top of the second, it's 1-0, actually 2-0 Dodgers, and well, now you're just showing off. That's his 51st steal. So he's gotten to the 50, and now he's eclipsed it. We need a few more home runs. Well, here they come. Ohtani, with the Dodgers up 7-3, absolutely obliterates this pitch, and he ties Shawn Green for the most in the history of the Dodgers franchise. That's 49. Green hit that mark back in 2001. So now just 1 home run away. Top 7, it's an 11-3 game. The fans on their feet. It's a 1-2 pitch, and that's history. Ohtani, the first player in the history of Major League Baseball to have 50 homers and 50 steals. And it's a road game, but frankly, everybody was there to see that dude and see if they could witness history. And they did. Remarkable moment. A transcendent player in his first year there. Here's how that sounded on the Dodgers broadcast.
On a 1-2, Ohtani sends one in the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone! One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
During Ohtani's at bat, Marlins decided not to intentionally walk him. You see Skip Schumacher saying, bleep that. I have too much respect for this guy for that bleep to happen. So they pitched to Ohtani, and that resulted in history. And here's Skip's explanation of why.
Down that many runs, I think that's a bad move, baseball-wise, karma-wise, baseball god-wise. You go after him and see if you can get him out. And I think out of respect for the game, we're going to go after him.
They did, and it ends up in the seats. Speaking of go after it, this fan that close to what would have been a monster payday. And the gear, Ohtani in the clubhouse gives it all to MLB officials, authenticated for him, reaching that 50-50 mark. Now, speaking of showing off, all right, it's Vidal Brujan. He's not a pitcher, but Ohtani's still Ohtani. And McGruber, an upper decker. He's 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 5 extra base hits, 2 stolen bases, 10 RBI. And oh, by the way, the Dodgers are into the playoffs again. It's the 12th straight year. Just a remarkable day in the history of that proud franchise. The first player with 10 RBIs and multiple stolen bases in a single game. The other 15 players to have 10 RBIs in a game combined for 0 steals. Ohtani, of course, had a couple swipes in this one. He did it from the leadoff spot, becoming the first leadoff batter to have 10 RBI in a single game. Previous record, 8. 6 different players did that, including his teammate, Mookie Betts, in 2017. Meanwhile, it's been over 100 years since a player finished a season top 2 in both home runs and stolen bases. Ohtani most certainly will accomplish that. He'll be the first to pull off that feat since Ty Cobb in 1909. Cobb had a league-high 9 homers that year, 78 stolen bases. Here is Ohtani on the history-making day.
嬉しさと、安堵と、それと同時に、記録をこう作ってきた先輩方へのこうリスペクトというか、そういう気持ちで今はいます。
Just happy. I'm happy, relieved, and very respectful to the peers and everybody who came before who played this sport of baseball.
I think it was like he was just feeling good and feeling sexy and just knew like I'm about to do this today. You know, from the very he could have 4 homers today. I can't really explain it. I really I'm really just a fan watching it just like y'all are, you know. I just happen to have the closest seat, you know. So all the feelings, I don't even know what feelings and emotions I have. It's just unexplainable witnessing history like that.
He's the most talented player I've ever seen. He is doing things that I've never seen done before in the game. And if he has a couple more of these peak years, he might be the best ever to play the game.
Like Stanford Steve, feeling sexy. Ohtani's first season in a Dodger uniform now has a chance to chase down Babe Ruth for the most homers in a player's first season with a franchise. Ruth had 54 for the Yankees in 1920. Only 5 players have ever hit 50 in their first season with a team. Ohtani now among those 5 with 9 games remaining in the regular season. Dave, I presume on this day you can understand that that's not the history I want to ask you about. That's old hat, you guys making the playoffs. What Shohei did, first ever 50-50, that ridiculous line in the box score, I just would ask, as a guy that had a front row seat, how do you best describe what that man did today?
What he did today was something certainly that I've never experienced. It's never been done before in the 200 years of this game of Major League Baseball. So that in itself, you know, he's one of one. Driving in 10 runs, 2 homers, stolen base, you know, just and I think, Scotty, the thing that's amazing is that there's very few people, few athletes, whether it's Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Shohei Ohtani, that make history, that move the needle. And the expectations that are put on Shohei, the responsibility around the globe to be ambassador of Major League Baseball and to realize those expectations, there's only a handful of people that have ever been able to do that. And like you said, Scotty, I had a front row and pretty spectacular.
When you and I spoke back in the winter in advance of this season, there was great expectation about what might be, and there was great curiosity about how would it go in L.A. but wearing a Dodger uniform. Well, it's gone fairly well. I'm curious, Dave, how has he met/exceeded whatever you presumed he might be in this season, which isn't close to being done. The best part's to come.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I will say, and I don't want to speak for Mark Walter, our owner, but you know, he's in finance, but I think he got the best return on investment with Shohei Ohtani with the $700 million. So you know what, man? I know that Shohei's not pitching this year. And I do think that there was a concerted effort to kind of understand that this is an opportunity for me to be as dynamic I can be as a position player. So what he has done is obviously been aggressive on the bases. His efficiency rate, stolen base rate is very good. And obviously the slug, the average, the runs batted in, to be able to post in the lineup every single night is pretty remarkable. And the game is so hard. And so I don't think he can say, hey, I know I was going to go for 50-50 this year, but he is just an athlete that I've never seen before. And I got a chance to play against Barry Bonds and play with Barry, certainly at the end of his career. But what Shohei's doing, you know, he's head and shoulders above the field. And that's why I've sort of been on a platform trying to, you know, convince people that he's the most valuable player in the National League.
Well, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. You're a guy that stole a pretty famous bag among the many that you got. I always thought the power numbers wouldn't, I mean, they've been that's who he's been forever. I had no idea, Dave, that 50 bags was something that was doable. At what point did you and he and the group realize, you know what, if we make a concerted effort for him to swipe bags, he can get a ton of them?
You know, so he worked really hard with our player performance guys in spring training. And he was working on his jumps. And I will say this, is that I've seen it in real time, his work with our first base coach, Clayton McCullough. And I do think that the great ones, they like the challenge of studying and the art of certain things, whatever it might be, whether it's hitting, pitching, you know, a jump shot, you know, hitting a slant or whatever it might be. And for Shohei, the art of stealing a base, he's really worked hard on pitcher's tells, tendencies. And for me right now, I've seen the evolution from April to now. He looks like a base stealer, not just a fast guy that's trying to steal a base. So I've seen that in him, and really impressive. And I just don't think there's anything in this game that if he puts his mind to that he can accomplish.
The big question mark of what will the postseason look like, we're going to find our answers to shortly. I think that the way, Dave, he responded to the pressure of all that was going on in the offseason with his interpreter, coming to L.A. with that monster number, like, what's it going to look like? I think he's answered every single question in remarkable fashion. I just am curious what you believe he has in store once these games become best of however many.
You know, I think that we're all, as sports fans, going to be in for a treat. I can remember whether it's Magic Johnson having a big night playing center field or center in a championship series, or Tiger Woods at Augusta when everyone is expecting him to, lap the field, and he does that. And Shohei gets 40-40 at Dodger Stadium and walks it off for a walk-off win that night too, right? And then so now he hits 2 homers to go 50-50. The Mike Trout Shohei, when Shohei's pitching in the WBC, was pretty epic. So I think as we look out to the postseason, as we clinch the postseason berth tonight, I think that I'm going to be on the edge of my seat as well, because I think there's going to be a lot more great moments to come.